Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his girlfriend has been cheating on him with his stepdad. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. Let me tell you about the time I found out my girlfriend Amanda was cheating on me. It all happened by chance. It was a complete shock, and I discovered it by pure chance. Amanda and I had been dating for a while, and we didn't have any serious problems. And so I didn't hesitate to introduce her to my family. My family sort of blended. My dad is diseased and my mom remarried. My stepdad was also a cool man, and I respected him a lot. Upon introducing Amanda to my family, they all fell in love with her. She also had a close relationship with both my brother and stepdad. I really loved her and had plans to even marry her. One day, when Amanda came visiting, her phone rang while she was in the bathroom. The caller ID, Bruv Heart, popped up on the screen. I was surprised because Amanda didn't tell me she had any brother. However, I picked up, sensing something was off, and found it was my stepfather on the other end. It was really weird. I played it cool and pretended it was just a joke. After that call, I felt very uneasy. Why would my girlfriend save my stepdad's number as Bruv, and with a heart emoji? I was restless, and I needed answers. I couldn't unlock her phone at that time because she used fingerprint as her password, so I had to wait until she was asleep later that night. That was about the longest wait of my life because it felt like ages. Anyway, night came and I was able to unlock her phone. I checked through her gallery and found nothing. Then I checked through her WhatsApp and I didn't find any chats between her and Bruv. As I was about to give up, I decided to check her Instagram chats. I didn't even know what to look for. Somehow, I stumbled upon her chat with an account with a very weird username. I found explicit pictures of Amanda and my stepdad. I also read their chat, which confirmed that they've been sleeping with each other. It all started making sense. Like that night, I smelled her perfume on my stepdad and casually mentioned missing my baby, not knowing he was sleeping with her. I also remembered that Amanda told me she was visiting her brother that same day. I was so devastated, I didn't even bother to say anything to her. I waited for her to leave the next day without giving her any hints. As soon as she left, I sent her the pictures I saw. By that time, I had already packed her things out of my house, and then I went on a trip. I also sent the pictures and conversations between my ex and stepdad to my mom. Right before I blocked my ex's number, she sent me a text, because I didn't pick her calls, trying to explain her way out of the situation. She said she didn't mean to hurt me and that she was sorry. I told her I didn't need her sorry ass in my life. My mom was devastated and later filed for a divorce. I never heard anything about my ex, but I'm sure she must have met her karma somewhere. As for me, I'm in a better place now. I'm sorry this happened to you and your family, OP. Your ex and your ex-stepdad are the worst kinds of cheat. The fact they didn't care about you or your mother and the family they'll be destroying makes them awful human beings. I love how you handled the whole thing. You left it all behind and you gave your mother undisputed evidence. I'm glad she divorced your ex-stepdad. She deserves way better than a man who would cheat on her with her son's girlfriend. You also deserve better, and I hope you've found it. Take care, OP. Story 2. My wife, 30, and I, 30 male, have been together since we were 17. High school sweethearts that stayed together through an LDR in college and got married 5 years ago. Prior to the incident, we were both completely monogamous, had never cheated on each other, and had only ever been intimate with one another. Around the time of our wedding, there was a management change at her place of employment. She and the new boss, 35 male, about 5 years her senior, had some initial friction, but then became very close. Some years later, promotions occurred, changes happened, and he left the company, while she got her own shot at the big chair. The two of them stayed close and became even better friends outside of work. Being the supportive husband I am, I encouraged this, as she didn't have many friends at the time, and I didn't want to be that guy who frowned upon her relationships with other men. Fast forward to the last few months. I became somewhat suspicious of her behavior, noticing that she would do things like come to bed with me but stay up super late using her phone, add lock screen passwords to her phone, leave the room to take phone calls, find reasons to leave the house like holiday cookie runs. Again, not wanting to be the stereotypical jealous husband, I shrugged off a lot of these things, never once doubting her faithfulness and commitment. Then about 3 weeks ago, I was looking for a return label in her email, a common occurrence, and I stumbled upon an email chain with him. In the email, she expressed her love for him, and he for her multiple times. And it was obvious that they had been having a physical, if not intimate, relationship for some time. My heart felt like it was going to pound out of my chest. When I could breathe again, I went to work. My job is one in a technical field, and it requires me to travel about twice a month for 2 or 4 days each time. Prior to my next trip, I dumped all of her text messages from her phone and set up a hidden camera in the house. You may think this was extreme, but at this point, I was just hoping that I was overreacting. I wasn't. From the comfort of my hotel room several hundred miles away, I had to watch their hours-long makeout sessions. I witnessed her do things to him that she's never been willing to do for me. There was sex, romance, the snuggling, all at the expense of my living room couch. The texts only made it worse, and I continued to torture myself by watching and reading both until I couldn't stand it anymore. Adding insult to injury, at the time she was 20 weeks pregnant with our first child. Since this is already too long, I'll just cut to the chase. 3 weeks ago, I confronted her and told her I knew everything. She had a breakdown and literally begged me on her hands and knees, sobbing to not leave her. We had a very emotional weekend and talked for hours about our marriage, her relationship with him, and our future together. I felt incredibly guilty about leaving her, even though she was in the wrong, so I decided we would do a trial reconciliation, get counseling, and try to work this out. Since the confrontation, we've pretty much had a dead marriage. I can't look at her without seeing them, which means I can't bring myself to touch her or tell her that I love her. She has openly admitted that she's more attracted to him, and that if given the choice, she would choose to be with him now, because I'm essentially treating her like crap. I believe that time heals all wounds, so I may eventually be able to forgive her and learn to love her again. Right now, I don't think that's possible. I also don't know if I'll ever be able to trust her again. I'm basically staying for our unborn son. My question, finally I know, is this. The more I think about this, the more I want to GTFO. Am I abandoning my son? Should I be working harder at this? I feel nothing but guilt and anger over this situation, and that's left me very conflicted. Edit, I'm sure the child is mine. Their relationship didn't escalate until after we conceived. Since you brought it up though, she has admitted that she wasn't quite ready for kids, but that it seemed like the next logical step. And she was determined to have a baby before my sister did. OP, get a paternity test. You have no way of knowing how long this affair was going on before you found out about it, or how long it took for things to escalate, as you put it. You only found out about it for sure because they got sloppy and brought the affair into your home instead of hiding out in a hotel room. Get the test. If it's your kid, great. That means you have a beautiful child that you can love and care for with your whole heart. If not, well, it happens, and your wife can be completely cut out of your life. And you aren't a terrible person for wanting to leave her. She doesn't love you, or she wouldn't have done any of this. She's just sorry she got caught. She wants to be with this new guy, and odds are she'll go back to him when the coast is clear. Just leave her already. Get the paternity test, and if it's your kid, then you can devote all your love to that child. And try to maintain a polite relationship with her. Now for some comments. You are not a terrible person, and you are not abandoning your son. You can be a perfectly fine, upstanding, and involved father without being married. What you cannot do is set a good example for your son by raising him in a home where you hate your wife. That won't work. It will mess up his ability to judge how a relationship is supposed to work. He'll grow up in a toxic home atmosphere that will affect him for decades. Even if the baby is yours, for the love of all that's sacred to you, do not stay with her just because of the kid. It doesn't do the kid any good. Take it from a kid who wishes his parents had gotten a divorce instead of dragging all the suffering out and dumping all their bullshit on us. It's pretty clear that this is a hard thing to recover from, and after seeing what you saw, I don't think you will. So for your own good and for the good of your child, get an effing divorce. And no, you're not a horrible person, she is. She's admitted she's wanting him because you are treating her like crap. I'm sorry, no. That's a controlling and manipulation tactic. You weren't the one putting a dick inside of you, she was. Single full-time father here. I had to grapple with the pain of what you're going through. I wanted to leave the dumb hoe, but by doing so, was I gypping my son too? I decided to stay. Worst decision I ever made. I grew to despise her. Every time I came home from work, I would wonder who she effed while I was out making money. Money for that S-slang to have a roof and a bed to sling leg for any guy willing to look at her twice. I grew resentful of her mere existence because I continued on like it was okay that some other guy effed her. It's not okay. Leave now. You can still be involved with your child even if it is yours, and you better get tested. Leave this piece of trash for the other guy. You aren't a monster. Just get out before you stay with her long enough to truly hate her.